Hey guys, so this week has been a little crazy. If it hasn't been apparent by me talking about it throughout all the episodes of the podcast, I'm from Las Vegas, and I spent the majority of my childhood, early adulthood in Vegas. It's my home, and most of my close friends are also from Vegas. And it's just, shock doesn't begin to describe how we're all feeling about this. My heart goes to all of the families who were affected by this horrific event. I can't imagine what they're going through right now. If you'd like to donate to help the families, Zappos.com will match every dollar donated up to $1 million. You can find that on the front page of their website, Zappos.com. There's also a GoFundMe page for the Las Vegas Victims Fund. Just Google GoFundMe Las Vegas, and it's literally the first link you see. This episode is with Isaiah Lyon and Kyle Lampi. We're all Vegas natives, and we mostly talk about how this horrific, terrible event has affected us and where we go from here as vegans. Not vegans, vegans. It might be a little bit more serious than previous podcasts, but don't worry. Kyle has a way to bring levity to any situation. He's magical like that. So it still was a great podcast. So just enjoy. Here we go. What's up, guys?
Hey.
Partying. How was your week?
Interesting.
It's been a very interesting week.
This week sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
a bunch of suck happened this week.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
Fuck. I mean, but I'm glad everyone's families are okay. Everyone that I know is okay and haven't been affected by it directly.
Right.
Thank God. But of course, there's been fucking tragedy that struck Las Vegas on Sunday night. Mm-hmm. And considering we're from Vegas, I guess we have a unique perspective. All three of us are from Las Vegas.
You know what's weird? I was thinking about it today because I knew I was going to come over and talk about it. I was like, why am I so upset? Obviously, it's because we grew up there. But you know, like there's been like Columbine happened, and you're like, oh, to us that was like, oh shit, that was like the first time like gun violence.
Yeah,
we remember it definitely. And so I was like, oh, that's sad, but like we were sad, but it still didn't like affect us. And then like was Sandy Hook, Shady Hook, whatever, same thing, sad, didn't really affect us. Orlando, sad, didn't really affect us. But it's just weird to think like, how many times have you been to the Mandalay Bay? How many times have we been to House of Blues to see a show there? How many times have we driven up those streets? And we know that it's like...
We know it like the back of our hands.
The biggest part of our lives are growing up there. And I almost feel like it is like tarnished.
Yeah.
Like when you think of Columbine will always be Columbine.
Right.
New York will always be the Twin Towers. Orlando will always be that shooting. And now Vegas has this on it. Because people go to Vegas to get carefree.
Yeah.
To throw all inhibitions to the wind. The last thing they're thinking about is getting... mowed down like you know,
the Orlando
crazy.
one was a little close just because it was like music industry related,
yeah.
But I don't know, with this one for me it was like a double whammy because it was for me, I play in the country world.
That's true. That's true. So it's like a double,
and then on top of it being hometown and all that, it was just wild. Where were you guys at when you found out about it?
I was here. I mean, this morning.
I was asleep.
Or not this morning, but that morning, I got a text from Ash's mom, like 6 a.m, say, "Are you okay? Did you check the news?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, what the hell just happened?"
I know.
And then, you wake up and then you turn on the news and oh my God, 60 people getting mowed down at the Mandalay Bay at a country concert.
You know what's sad is I was sleeping and Jessica has to get up early for work and she like went to the bathroom to get ready and she came back. She said, "Kyle, there's been a shooting in Vegas." And I was like, you know what's sad? I was just like, oh.
Of course there was.
Like, I was so numb to people getting shot.
I actually can relate to that.
I was like, oh, really?
I can completely relate to that. I had a gig Sunday night downtown on Broadway. And I kind of took a break, every now and then. It's like, 4-hour gigs or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I'm on my break and I get a text, like in a group text from a buddy. And it was like, hey, there was a shooting, and I was like, well, wow, that's crazy, And of course, kind of like what you're saying is, I mean, unfortunately, certain shootings do happen every now and then in Vegas, and so it didn't really register to me what was going on.
When someone says there's a shooting, my immediate thought is gang violence, because that happens in Vegas.
Yeah, it does. Happen,
or like ISIS
or something
or something.
I didn't think that. Well, yeah.
I it just didn't click for me as to like the gravity of it. So I went back up, finished the gig. So by that point, it was I think 1:30 in the morning, 1:45. And then I go and sit down, all of us, we'd packed up our stuff and just kind of sipping on a drink for a second, unwinding. And I look at my phone again and I see the same text and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Of course, I pull up Facebook and I start digging and I'm like, oh my God. And just immediately,
all the videos
I just started texting literally every cousin of mine I could possibly think of and just constantly. And luckily though, a lot of them work late or are up late. And so I was getting responses pretty quick.
Yeah, that's great.
But it was,
I called my parents and we're like, are you guys okay?
Yeah, I texted my dad.
Yeah, we're totally fine. No one we knew was down there. And it was just a whole morning of just making sure everyone was okay. And it's just so strange to me because it's the first time, and I know you guys could probably relate, is like this is the first time it hit so close to home.
Oh yeah, very much.
In another, it could have been, either one of us could have been down there at that time.
Yeah.
Because I go to Vegas twice a year to go see my family and play for my dad.
My dad was just down there the night before going to a Bill Burr show. Like he was there. Like,
Exactly.
and that guy was there too. The shooter was like in the same, who knows, like.
Well, like I said, had I been in town that weekend, odds are in favor. I probably would have went to the concert just because of the fact of
Your friends
mutual
and-
friends
yeah.
and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
It's pretty wild.
And then I'm sure you saw that there's been reports of him, he had like a condo or a hotel room booked overlooking the Life is Beautiful Fest
Yep.
and Lollapalooza.
Yep.
So it's like he probably
I don't
was
think I
just
heard
like
that.
mapping
Wow.
it out, seeing like what would be the best position for the most damage.
What's frustrating about all this, and for a lot of people, and for me too, is because when stuff like this happens, usually it's pretty easy to find out a motive. Like, oh, this person was politically motivated. Oh, this guy was a part of ISIS. Oh, this.
Whatever, yeah.
But there is nothing.
They haven't found anything.
And that's what's crazy is his brother and everyone they interviewed, they're like,
I gotta say, I kind of felt bad for his brother watching those interviews.
Oh, yeah. He was just.
he was getting badgered.
yeah,
Of course he
Dude
was.
he was just, and obviously the loss of his own brother, just
And then he's gotta
being
deal with that.
stunned,
Yeah.
and then dealing with that. I was like, oof, that's rough.
Like that'd be like if you went on a shooting rampage.
Yeah.
It would be like, well,
yeah, we'd be
he-
stunned and
like-
I mean,
he likes
got mad playing
swords.
Halo times.
Yeah.
like, but
yeah, it's crazy.
He likes swords.
You know what is, and I'm sure you've seen all of the like conspiracy theorists are coming out and saying things.
Yeah.
But I am actually shocked, and most people don't know this, but we know this. Growing up in Vegas, like you can see every square inch of the hotel except for the hotel rooms.
yeah.
That's it. I mean, like
Yeah.
walking. I mean, you can see because they have to have
Yeah.
eyes in the sky to catch
Yeah.
like people who steal things.
I'm sure it's all under investigation, though.
But I
They're
mean,
looking at all
of
that
course.
stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, it's just not out to the public yet.
Right.
But I want to. That's my biggest question is how did he get all that stuff up there
Yeah.
without anyone
Well, I mean,
noticing?
he did it all through suitcases, and like you've been in Las Vegas hotels. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
you see people with suitcases all the
All the
time
time.
and
You
never
could
think of
stroll
anything.
through.
But that many
golf bags.
How many golf bags do you need?
I mean,
those, and they're heavy too. Like that many
Yeah.
rifles, that's a lot of pounds. I mean,
That's
they're-
definitely a lot.
especially to be that high power to be able to shoot that far. That's
yeah.
and then ammunition. I mean, a box.
It was all like military grade, yeah. Like it was.
Like a box of the ammunition is 15 pounds, 10, 15 pounds, and he had thousands of rounds or whatever. So that I just want to
What was
see
the
this.
total count? Was it 19 guns?
Yeah, something like that. I saw
it
something.
was
23.
something like 23.
23 now?
Yeah, and there's like 16 left at his home.
Yeah,
And here's the crazy part. As I was digging into like the facts of all this, because of the conspiracy theories, this thing is rife for conspiracy theories because
It is.
there's no motive.
Right.
It's crazy that he was able to get all of these guns into the hotel without raising any suspicion whatsoever.
Right.
people seeing muzzle flashes from like the 4th floor as opposed to the 32nd.
Yeah, I saw there's like
I
there was
saw those. I was curious about that in itself because it does. It's weird to watch, but at the same time, we all know those windows don't open. And those
No,
windows
you'd have to break 'em out.
Those windows weren't busted out, So
Yeah.
my question is that. Plus, I don't know. It's hard to tell if the flash is lined up and all that kind of
Well,
stuff. A
and
lot of
it's
people are talking
and
about
that entire hotel is glass, and it's Vegas. There's flashing
Right.
lights every square
it's
inch of that
Vegas.
place.
Strobe
So
lights.
yeah,
I don't know.
It's pretty wild.
There's so many, but right, like there's so many cameras and there's so many eyes on the hotels. Like the whole conspiracy theory stuff. I'm just like, there's been posts on Facebook. There was a second shooter. I'm like, no, not in any other place, maybe, but Vegas, no. I mean, if there's a second shooter, someone in that casino would
you
have.
can't get out of there. You're on camera the entire
Right.
time.
The entire time.
Unless there's someone in on it.
There's
you
more
know?
cameras in
Even then,
yeah.
though, because there's
Yeah.
people watching the cameras and people watching the people watching cameras, and like it's Vegas. I mean, you could literally
You can't
zoom in
escape.
on a quarter
Yeah.
from the roof. Like it's insane
Because they
the
have to
cameras they
catch
have there.
card. They have to
Yes.
catch card sharks and stuff. The only thing that I saw that was kind of raised some questions is there's a video from a cab driver that was waiting down in the lobby of the Mandalay Bay to get some rides, and it's when the first round of shots went off, and it's like loud in the camera, like it sounds like it's right outside of her car, right? And then 4 to 8 seconds later, the second round of shots go off, but it's very muffled in the distance, like far away, and people are saying, well, how could it be that loud that close and then sound like it's that far away in 4 seconds? He's a 64-year-old man. He didn't run across the hall to another gun turret station. That was the only thing I was like, oh, that's a little
I guess
weird.
maybe because the 2 windows that were out, it was a giant suite.
Yeah, that's true. But for
But
4
still,
seconds?
I mean, those things were so loud that
Yeah. I don't know. And two, like just from a scientific aspect, when you're under stress like that, like the people saying that they saw multiple shooters and stuff, like your frontal cortex is your decision making, your awareness. When you're under stress, that's the first thing that shuts down. Your
Yeah.
motor skills go,
Yep.
things that you that's why people see things that aren't really there or remember things cloudy because they're under
adrenaline
stress. So
flying like crazy.
Eyewitness
Who knows,
testimony
man?
is notoriously terrible, and it's
they're
not
stressed.
reliable. I mean, we've seen so many documentaries about like how witness testimony changes over time. It's
Yeah.
like
Yep.
they start seeing people that weren't there, or start seeing like details of like
Yeah.
certain things that what didn't exist, and it's just, and especially
crazy.
in that kind of high stress situation, it's like, there's going to be so many conflicting accounts, and it's just. And what's crazy about it is like we as humans want to figure out something like this. Like, how can a human being
Right.
do something so monstrous?
it's like no one wants to believe one person could be that sick. It's almost more comforting to think a couple people could do that.
Yeah.
Like how could one person do that much damage?
well, that's what conspiracy theories are
Yeah.
designed for. They're designed for it's impossible. This guy just didn't flip a switch. It's like people do that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I have to say that I was actually proud of was the response and in the stuff that I heard in the sense of like people coming to aid of other people that they just didn't even know. And, there have been hundreds of accounts of people just dropping everything, helping out, trying to get people to safety, covering up. Apparently there were plenty of men down there that were covering up women kind of thing,
Yeah.
like to shield. And
Yeah,
I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
it's incredible. And I tweeted that out like right when all that shit went down. It's like when stuff like this happens and it just the news is like telling you how shitty the world can be. I think it's very important to take stock of all the several people.
Yeah.
I mean, in the hundreds of people that risk their lives in the moment of terror to
Yeah.
save other people.
They
There's hundreds of
jumped at
those
it.
people. And excuse me. There are hundreds of those.
You get a little choked up over there?
Dang it. And it was a very important point, too. Damn it. There are hundreds of those people and one crazy murderer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like, take stock of those. Take
Yeah.
stock of how like 95% of people are just good people that want to
Yeah.
help out and just live their life.
Absolutely.
And it's just like the fucking news, man. And I understand you need to. Everyone's just fixated on this, and they want to know why, and they want to know.
Yeah.
It's just, but
Plus the instant gratification side of it too, that everybody's getting accustomed to, having smartphones and, the way technology is. Everybody wants to know everything right now.
Yeah.
And, sometimes it takes a little time to get it all figured out and straightened
Especially
out.
when the person is dead and you have no
Yeah,
one
really.
to ask.
It's pretty wild. Like I said, I'm very proud of the Vegas community stepping up. I mean, I saw a few videos of people who were at like the blood donation spots where we're talking people standing in line for hours and hours on end just to donate blood. And there was, cases of water for everybody. There's so many people coming together, and I was really proud of that.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
People from every single state was just lined up.
Yeah, pretty wild.
So crazy.
So just and that thing is like, I don't think the more and more I looked into it, it's like, I don't think you could have prevented this. I mean, it didn't happen on the floor. I mean, I wish there was some way that he could have been prevented, obviously. I mean, obviously bringing in 16 full suitcases full of ammunition, that there's, definitely can look at that. But as far, because at the end of the day, like when you go to Vegas and you get into a hotel room, that's the home away from home. Yeah. That's your private area. That's where you go, it's Vegas, we can't just have cameras in hotel rooms. No one would ever go to Vegas if that were the case, or anywhere.
No, you can't.
That's invasion of privacy at that
Especially
point.
the things that happen in a Vegas hotel.
I think, or maybe replace the glass with like unbreakable bulletproof glass.
That was apparently the idea, because it needed to, like the glass there, it has to be
because the winds up there are so high.
Yeah,
it's got to be able to withstand gusts of wind. Yeah,
They changed that. I forget when it was, but they changed it because of people having gambling issues and having owed too much money, and people were jumping out of buildings. So they made it mandatory, and they made the windows so
super thick. Yeah,
the
only thing that sucks. Well, not the only thing. One of the major things that sucks is like going back to Columbine. Before Columbine, there was no such thing as school shootings. Then Columbine happened, and then there were school shootings, and then there was the theater shooting. You were like, that's the last place you think you get shot at, is the theater. And then there was a couple. Remember the guy with the hatchet came in the movie theater, like trying to kill people. And then you had, church. No one's going to get shot in church. And then you had church shootings. There's been multiple church shootings.
That happened here a week and a half ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then now it's, at a concert. Now it's like, it's almost like, I know the media has to report on this because people need to know about it. But it's almost like, every time something bad happens, it like opens up that door like, oh,
yeah, I
can totally do that. Or people running people over with cars. That wasn't a thing. And now people are running people over with cars all the time. So it's like, it's like, what can we do? And I'm the same way. When I go to the movies, I'm aware of where the exits are. I never knew the friggin' exits were in a movie. Mm-hmm. Same thing at a concert or big, large crowds. I'm always like looking around now. And it's sad because I remember what it was like when we were growing up in Vegas after band practice. Hey, let's go see a movie. Cool. Yeah. Last thing on our mind. I would honestly think that I would die choking on my milk duds before getting shot. And seriously, it's crazy.
I fully agree.
But now you got to think about that. It's crazy. You can't do it. You just can't have fun.
Yeah, maybe it's maybe it's something that we should have been doing this whole time. You should have been more aware of your surroundings because crazy people do exist. But at the same time...
But why should I have to do that? It's just like saying, well, maybe boys should learn, or maybe, let's just like saying, well, maybe women should be more aware of their surroundings. How about, no, maybe boys shouldn't rape women. How about that?
Yeah.
Same thing. Why should I have to live in a society where it's like, that's the norm? That there's something, I don't know what it is, but there's something in our society that has broken somewhere that...
There's probably a lot of things.
But I don't know what it is or how it's come to be, and obviously everyone has their own opinions and stuff, but it's just weird to me that I remember us growing up, we never had to fear this because stuff like this didn't happen. Right. And I think it's been, I would say maybe the last 8 to 10 years is when all this stuff has been kind of coming.
It's been exponentially getting
well, this particular issue, yes, like mass shootings, yes, that has been on the rise as far as death count and just ultimate terror. Mm-hmm. But it's important, again, when you're thinking like that, it's always important to look at the facts. And the facts of the matter are every single form of violent crime has been down and has been down for decades. Yeah. And it continues to go down. So on the grand scheme of things, we live in the most peaceful time, at least in America. Mm-hmm. We live in the most peaceful time that has ever existed in America, ever. Mm-hmm. On the whole, it just
doesn't seem that way because everybody's seeing and hearing about it.
Exactly, because we have access to it on our phone.
To the point, or on your phone, or every time you turn on the news, everything is negative. I hate turning on the news. I hate it too. Yeah. And I hate having this need to know what's going on, even though I already know everything that I need to know. It's like a terrible thing happened. there you go. Download it into my brain. And it's like I'm trying to do this thing where, like I said, it's like try to remember all the positive things. The positive things always outweigh the negative. It's kind of like this might be a terrible example, but this is what came to my brain when I thought of it. It's like YouTube comments or anything in the comment section where, you know, you do something, you post something on Facebook or whatever, and all the comments are like, great. Yeah, you did great. That sounds awesome, blah, 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 blah. And there's that one fucking negative comment, that one fucking asshole.
Some guy living in his mom's basement.
Yeah, you know, but that's the one you remember.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is the only one you remember.
True.
And same thing with everything you see on the news. Now, magnify that times 100, or everything you see on the news is that one fucking negative YouTube comment, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever happened to the stories about like dogs getting lost and traveling miles to find their way home?
And it's not,
That's
you know
what I
what?
want.
It's not the
That's what I
news'
want my
fault.
news to
It's
be.
not the news' fault.
Bring back Homeward Bound.
Yeah. Well, they gotta report on things.
Well, no,
Yeah.
that gets the highest ratings. Horrible things get the highest ratings.
That's what I'm saying, because that's what people want.
Get glued to it, and that's what they look at as ratings.
So I can't sit here and blame CNN or any other news network. I gotta
No.
blame everybody, including myself.
Yeah, of course.
That's why I don't like to watch news.
Like I've since this has happened, I've kind of been obsessed with this shooting. I've been watching as many like different videos as
I've been
much as I
watching a ton,
can.
yeah.
I can't stop. Like I can't. Like anytime someone posts a new video that they were in the crowd from a different angle, I watch it and I hear the same gunshots. I hear the same people saying the same things. Like, oh no, those are fireworks. And then them quickly realizing like, oh shit, we gotta go. Like,
Yeah.
calm down. Like everything's gonna be fine. Like it's crazy.
I took a break from it yesterday. I needed to.
Yeah.
It's been pretty intense.
Yeah, well, I want to talk about the facts real quick, because when stuff like this happens, everyone goes their different corners of like gun rights and then gun legislation. You know, everyone goes there immediately. Like seriously, the day after,
I couldn't believe that.
Me too.
the day after, a couple friends of mine who are quite liberal immediately went in to say white men are the leading cause of terror in the United States, which is true. That is a true fact. But it's advantageous of you to say this right after that. Like, and then they in the post they also say like, you know, they're right wing, they lean right, you know, it's because of Trump, blah 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 blah. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, in this particular instance, you're wrong because, well, yes, he was white, but no, he wasn't politically affiliated. That was the first thing that people would have noticed.
And that's so insane to me because, like, if you stop, regardless of politics or anything, like, if you look at a base, people were slaughtered. Like, people lost their lives. And wasn't a rap concert where there was, like, a majority of, like, males. It wasn't a metal concert where it was a majority of like white males. No, this was like a country concert that has a demographic ranging from, there was a 6-year-old that was missing to old people, any race, any color. Country music has a huge demographic. So that's just not like a certain group. That was like everybody was killed. Like that's insane. And they're literally going to talk about like gun laws or like, oh, it's because of Trump or it's not because of this. Like that seems so insensitive to me. It's like, just as a base, just humanity, like we're all connected. Like that's insane.
We're all tribal.
I know.
We have this tribal thing where we go into our separate corners. We go into our teams.
Plus, everybody wants something to blame
right
away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why can't it just be the guy's insane?
But see, we can't wrap our minds around that because we're not insane.
Yeah.
You know,
I know.
we're insane in some things. We're obviously not completely sane, but we're sane enough to go, you know, I don't feel like killing a whole bunch of people today.
It's not really on my agenda.
Yeah.
No, I got things to do.
I got things to do. Gotta go to CrossFit. Gotta work on some music. So what was that? What did I just say?
Just talking about how the day after people were going, they're just getting in the corners.
So fact number 1, no political or religious affiliation whatsoever.
Right.
Even though ISIS tried to claim it.
And of course they tried.
That was weird.
They'll try to claim anything because
It was us.
it was us.
No, it wasn't.
No,
Oh,
it wasn't.
Well, it could have been.
The guns,
don't know.
from what I could see, the guns that he used,
terrible.
because I tried to look at this up, because I listened to the Joe Rogan podcast after what happened, and he said that there were illegal guns being used, and so I looked it up, and I don't think the guns that he used were illegal. What was illegal, these guns that he used, from what I could tell, were completely legal. You can buy them in Vegas, but what was illegal about them was he used a bump stock, and you can't do that. That's
Yeah,
illegal.
I heard it was basically he modified them.
Yeah.
Because they were semi-auto, but he modified them to be fully auto.
right.
I
And
mean,
so
obviously,
that
you
makes
hear
them
it.
illegal.
Yeah.
But you could
Either
totally
way, though, I mean, I don't know. I think part of the gun law thing is you probably shouldn't just be able to get one of those.
Yeah.
Like,
And my other fact though is
sure.
it is totally legal to you don't need a permit to buy a handgun, shotgun, or rifle. You don't need a permit.
well,
Now I don't know
Doesn't that change state by state though?
in Nevada. I'm talking about in Nevada.
Gotcha.
In Nevada,
there
it does
is
change state by
there
state.
is a 3-day waiting period though for a handgun. So because Nevada is notorious for people going there and like losing their lives and then wanting to kill themselves or hurt other people,
Right.
so they make you
Similar
wait 3
idea
days
with
to
the
think
windows.
about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're like,
And-
I'm gonna buy a handgun. Okay, well you're gonna wait 3 days, and then by the third day they're like, I think I'm just gonna go to the buffet at the Fiesta. Like, you know, good move.
Go to the Orleans
Yeah,
Institute
yeah,
buffet.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's, but so for the bump stock stuff, there is a legislation currently on the floor, and the NRA actually said it will back regulations on bump stocks, and top House Republicans are open to the legislation. So let's take the good with the bad here. So
Right.
they the Republicans who are obviously pro gun are willing to have this conversation about bump stocks.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the left people would be like, we just need to outlaw. We just need to have
No guns.
big permits on guns, or
There should literally be a permit for every single gun.
Well, it should be-
There just should be.
You have to. What's crazy to me? All right, like I'm a gun owner.
Yeah.
I have a concealed carry permit. I carry a gun with me all the time.
but you have a permit.
Yes, I had it. I had to go through a
Gotta
back.
go through a background
I had to
check.
go through a background check to make sure I'm not on any medications that flagged me. They have my fingerprint. They look into my background. I'm not a criminal. I've never done anything that could possibly be a white flag. And not to say that that's like I could leave your house right now and walk next door and kill that entire family if I wanted to and I could have just snapped whatever. It's not foolproof by any means, but it's definitely a start. And what
We
drives
believe
me
that you're not going to do that.
yeah, exactly. I'm not going to do that. That's insane. But what bothers me is when people talk about gun control, and as a gun owner, and I love guns, I love shooting guns, I don't feel like we need to go, what do you mean you're trying to take my guns away? It's not that. We're not trying to take all your guns away. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make it harder
Yeah.
for you to get weapons that are made for the only purpose for a gun is to kill. And those guns, fully automatic guns or semi-automatic guns that have been turned into a fully automatic gun,
Well, they call them assault rifles for a reason.
it is
Yeah.
like you're not going hunting with an AR-15. What do you need 30 rounds for a deer? You know, I'm serious.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
agreeing with you.
Like a hand. No one's trying to take away my handguns. No one's trying to take away my hunting rifles. But you know what? I feel like there's no reason why a civilian should have a rifle that's made for war. Well, I'm
Yeah.
not in war.
Right.
Like, yeah, I can have a pistol on me while I'm doing my business for the day. I have the right to protect myself. Great.
Right.
As long as I've gone through the class. I do not need... I think the only people that should have automatic rifles are the military and
fully
assault
agree.
rifles.
I
Like,
fully
what
agree.
the fuck?
With all that.
And you know what? Like, I know some people who, like, my dad had an AR-15. He sold it just because he needed the money or whatever. And, like, you know, he's a law-abiding citizen. And there's a lot of guys out there that love their guns. But at the end of the day, like, wouldn't you... Say I had an AR-15 and they said, okay, you need to turn over all your automatic or your assault rifles or semi-automatic rifles. At the end of the day, yeah, that would suck that I could never shoot one of those again. But would I rather be sad that I can't go out into the desert and shoot some watermelons, or be happy to know that I possibly have taken down the gun violence rate in the country that I love? And like, I'm going to have kids someday. Do I want to bring kids into a world where like I can go to a gun show and get as many rounds and magazine capacity rifles as I want? Or just turn over your fucking rifles. No one's taking away your shotguns, your hunting rifles that are bolt action, one shot at a time, and your
Yeah.
handguns. That's just, okay,
Yeah.
keep those, but just, you don't need those. You
Well,
just don't.
it also just needs to be common sense. I mean, like, to drive a car.
Yeah.
I mean, just
You
to
need a
drive a
license.
fucking car, you need a license. You
Yeah.
need to go through all these fucking tests.
Yeah.
You got to write down the fucking. You got to learn the Constitution. You got.
And if you fail, you don't get a license.
Right.
Same thing with a gun. If you
You
fail,
have to go
you
take the test.
Yeah, I was about to
again.
ask. So in Tennessee, did you have to take a class and you have to go through?
I had to take it was a 6-hour class. They went over the responsibilities of what it means to carry a gun. You're responsible. I mean, they let you know, like in any situation, even if you are protecting yourself, you're responsible for every bullet that leaves that gun. So if I'm protecting myself and a guy's like coming at me with a knife and I shoot him, but I also miss and it goes into a car and hits an old lady and hurts her, I'm liable for that. Even though I didn't ask to try to be stabbed with a knife, or I didn't know. Like they go over the laws. They go over. You have to pass a shooting test. Make sure you're even comparable. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, you can even shoot your gun. Yeah, and then you have to take a written test over everything, the laws, the things you can and cannot do in your state only, like because every state's different.
Is the word
that's
competent?
Common sense.
Competent. There it is, which I am not.
Yeah.
Apparently. Which you are not.
But see, that seems kind of like a driver's license.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you go through the classes, you
A little
you
more
do
intense,
your thing.
of course, but yes.
Yeah, I think it
But
honestly
it should be more
It
intense.
should be.
It should be
absolutely
more
should be.
intense. I think the gun to get a gun should even be more intense than that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like the background check that I had to do, all I had to do was wait to when I bought my gun it was 20 minutes. They're like, "Hey, wait here for 20 minutes. We're going to run it through the computer." It's just like this aggregator that goes through and looks at everything. Cool, awesome. And for a certain amount of money, I walked out of that gun store with a gun. I think it should
And it
be a
took
little
you
longer.
Essentially under an hour
Yeah.
overall to find
Maybe
the gun,
we
and
should
get
do-
everything together.
Maybe we should do a week waiting period. I wouldn't mind. You go to the armory and you say, "Hey, I want to buy this gun." They go, "Great. We're gonna run through your background check. You put a deposit on it. We'll call you in a week."
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean,
I have no problem with that because I'm not a crazy person trying to kill a bunch of people.
we have like my ABC card to sell liquor took me 4 days to get.
I know.
I mean,
I forgot about that. Yeah, it does.
I had to
And
take
you have
a
to sit through a 5-hour class.
to get a 5-hour class.
Saying the
5
same
hours.
thing.
5 hours.
Don't serve alcohol to people that are underage. Don't serve alcohol to people who are already drunk. You are liable if they get in a car accident for 6
Somebody
hours.
walks in and looks younger than 30.
I know, it's insane.
You card them.
And the other argument that drives me nuts too is like, well, knives kill people, cars kill people. You're gonna take those away too? Well, guess what?
You have to get a license.
Yeah, a car has a purpose, and that's to get you from point A and point B. Yes, you could run over someone in between point A and point B. Great. A knife is for cutting a sandwich. You could also cut your wife with a knife, but you're not supposed to. Nobody is cutting their sandwich with an AK-47. Just like, there's your stuff. Like, no.
I would love to see Shane cut a sandwich.
I know.
With that.
And you know what? That would even be okay, because that is a knife, and that's what it's for.
Oh my god, I don't need to do that. I need to
We
make a
should do
video.
that. Okay, we need to
but
all
it's
like
so
have
clean
dinner
and it's
over
not
here,
been
and that will be the utensil for cooking.
I like that.
Oh my god. But yeah, it should. Yeah. I mean, I think it just needs to be a little bit more common sense.
Or I didn't even
Common
know.
sense is not that common. That's what
There should
what's
be a
crazy
common
about
sense class. There should be a common sense class
I
taught
know.
in middle school, high
Common
school,
sense is
college.
not common. Apparently, it's just not.
My thing is like, I didn't know that you could buy something that would modify your trigger to keep pulling like that. Mm-hmm. My thing is, how is that legal?
Well, the
What
reason why
else is that
No,
for?
that
Well-
part is not legal.
like
How did he get it?
Like everything that is terrible,
Yeah.
and used for terrible
Mega Man
means,
got it
it
from
was meant for people who had low mobility in their hands, like handicap. With if you injure your hand and you still want to own a gun, that's why it was made, so that you're able to fire it at a faster rate, but you can't move your finger as fast as.
So
there
not
should
to be
another
not to be
extension
insensitive,
to the permit. Of
but
that.
if I become a paraplegic and I get my parking spot, I got
Wait.
my sticker and everything, I'm handicapped. That means that I'm allowed to have a weapon that's capable of firing 3 times as fast as the normal weapon. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Well.
First off, just
It's crazy, but I mean, I don't know what's going to have to happen in order to have like these really hardcore conversations about guns. And of
Right.
course, like the NRA is just a super lobby.
Well, the biggest difference, it seems like, is that everybody's looking at it in a sense of like, all guns or no guns.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, hold on here.
Yeah, we don't.
There can be some middle ground here.
Right.
Just like you're saying, yeah. Have the concealed weapons permit, a handgun here or whatever. But
Shotgun.
guess what? You can't have an AR-15.
Just can't.
Just no. Like, what the hell are you going to use that for?
it's so and I just go back to just that point. It's like I'm not allowed to have a rocket launcher, and I'm fine with that. I'm not allowed to have a hand grenade, even though I really want to throw one.
It would be really fun to go out to a target and be able to shoot something like that.
But you know what? How is the rest of your day going to go knowing that you can't do that?
I'll be just fine.
You're going to be okay.
I'll be just fine.
Everyone's going to be okay. It's just,
fine.
I don't understand why everyone's so
That's
scared.
what video games are for, too. To be able to...
I know.
Yeah, get all that aggression out.
Why? And this is, and it's really sad, too, that this is the first thing that's actually made me really want to, like, vote for something or, like, actually stand up for something. But I actually truly, because it hit close to home, like, I've actually, it's just crazy. If I ever like the silencer thing, they're trying to get silencers.
That's nuts.
No, why?
That's absolutely nuts.
Why? No, no one needs a fucking silencer.
Well, obviously, the 15 deers that you're about to mow down, you don't want them to hear that you're shooting at them.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Use a bow and arrow like a real fucking man.
Hey, newsflash! You're not in the Navy SEALs or James Bond. You don't need a silencer.
I want to make sure to hit the deer because I'm hungry.
Yeah, because Kroger's closed, and and I can't go get a steak. I just, man, I don't know.
But the silencer on my AR-15 so I can hit that one deer.
Yeah. I'm curious to see
That's ridiculous.
how much longer it's going to go before people are just like so fed up. I feel like this, maybe because I'm actually like, I care so much about this, but I feel like this is it. Like that.
Oh, I mean, I feel like that too. I would wonder if, people who aren't as connected as we are would feel that way.
But when you watch
well.
those videos, that's nothing like I've ever seen before. Like that
was nuts.
Like the other shooters, like Columbine, they were on the ground with the students. They were there. The students, even though they felt helpless, there was enough of them. They still had a chance. They could have taken them down.
Yeah.
Same thing with all the Orlando guys. The guy was with the people.
There.
This guy was
even the same thing in Paris.
Yeah,
at the concert.
They were there.
They were there.
But
in the
this
crowd.
guy was.
Ugh.
This was just a straight slaughter. Like they was shooting fish in a barrel. That was this is like another level of evil, if you can even imagine.
Completely.
This was
Like,
a completely methodical, took months to plan
like
kind
that
of thing.
Like that's enough. Like what? It's just. I feel like that should just be enough. What else could you possibly have to say? Honestly, if I ever hear anyone go, well, they can't take my guns away, I think I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna be like, they're not trying to take your gun away. They're trying to make it so you can't buy a weapon that could.
They could do that.
Yes. Why do you even want that? Why do you want that?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've had conversations with people. It's like it's an American right to
of course.
to have a gun, and I totally
bear
understand
arms,
that.
absolutely.
To bear
Have
arms,
your gun.
Absolutely.
and I
But just
totally
not that
agree
one.
with that. But yeah.
Seriously. And
But
you know what?
Yeah, there's a ceiling to it.
If you want to be dangerous and you want to, well, I need to have as much firepower as possible. Who's more dangerous? The guy walking down the street with a rifle, or me, the guy in his skinny jeans and a shirt who you don't know has a gun?
Okay,
You want to be dangerous? Get a concealed weapons.
That was
permit.
actually what I was going to bring up to the whole the point a lot of people bring up is like we need more good guys with guns. I'm like, okay,
I get that.
I get that, but how many good guys with guns are trained enough to, in that particular situation, to shoot right on point, to know where their target is, to not kill anybody else that are innocent,
Especially in a hysterical kind of moment.
Yeah.
right? And it's like,
Well-
you're not, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure that 90% of gun owners that think that they're going to be able to stop a crazy shooter in that moment
if I said that
are
right.
probably either going to hurt somebody else, themselves, or just not be able to handle that kind of high pressure situation.
That should be part of the license. Not only should the test be harder to get the gun, but you should have to retest or they take your license away. Like you should have to retest your skills. There should be an actual thing that you have to prove that you can hit this amount of targets in this amount of time with this amount of accuracy. Because a lot of people, they do that. Anyone can get their concealed permit and they buy a gun and then they never go to the range and shoot it. They just leave it in their purse or in their car or on their person, and they don't practice drawing from concealment. They don't practice shooting while moving. They don't no one practices that. So they think a gun doesn't make you safe. What makes you safe is your ability to use. It's just a tool.
Yeah.
It's your ability to use that tool. And if you don't practice using that tool, you're just as in danger, if not more in danger, with someone with a gun.
Yeah. Well. Gosh, I should have done this right at the get. If you want to donate, Mikey Monaraj, who was on the podcast, he works for Zappos, and Zappos is doing a thing. They're they're doing a thing where they're going to match each donation up to $1 million.
Oh, money. We're talking about not blood. We're talking
not blood. You can donate blood at the Red Cross, and they'll do that. I'm talking about actual money.
So if I was a baller, I could just donate $1 million and they'll match that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It says right here on Zappos.com, donate to the victims of the Las Vegas tragedy, and Zappos will match up to $1 million.
Damn Bazarian.
If they don't hit $1 million, they should just go ahead and donate $1 million.
They probably will anyway. I mean, Zappos.
But that's a great way to get other people to donate.
Where you can find that is Zappos.com. There's a GoFundMe page that you can donate to. So I should have done that right. I'll do it at the intro.
It's okay.
But yeah,
let's get our boy Dan Bazarian to donate some money. He lives in Vegas. Yeah. He's a multi-bajillionaire.
That's another thing. That's
he loves
crazy.
guns.
Yeah, didn't he go get guns and come back?
Yeah, there's a Snapchat of him like running, saying like, "Oh my God, I just saw this girl get her fucking head blown off. Like it's fucking crazy." And he was running to his car to get his a lot of people ran back to their cars to get their personal weapons, because Vegas is a very gun-friendly place, to go and try and help, but no one knew the shooter was that far up. They thought they were on the ground. So these people actually went to go like try to...
Yeah, there was a lot of veterans out there that sprung into action and just like, all right, here we go.
That one guy stole that dude's truck to take, and he took a couple dozen people to the hospital, and then told the guy, he was like, sorry, bro, but I stole your truck to help people, and there was like no harm, no foul. Like, okay, yeah, cool. But he just like just took it. He's like, fucking, we're going.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
That's awesome.
We should
always
always
see another
remember
video
those.
too where somebody went up to somebody who was driving a truck that was trying to get out, and they're like, "We need your truck right now.
Yeah.
We've got like 30 people need to go to the hospital." And they're like, "Yes, throw them in.
Let's go.
Let's go."
I saw one video that disgusted me though. It was a cab driver lady, and she was like she was like, "What the hell is going on? No one's running. There's gunfire." She comes around, she sees people. I mean, they're jumping over the fence, running. She's like, "What the hell's going on?" And people just run up to her car and get in. They're like, "Drive, go, drive." And she's like, "Hold on, what's going on?" She's like, "There's people dead. Everybody's dead. Go." And she's like, "Are you serious?" And she's like slowly driving, and they're screaming at her like, because the light's still on. She's like, because they're freaked out. They're like, they think even the shooter can still see him in the cab. They're like, "Turn the lights off. Go. Drive." They're like, "Fucking go." And she like won't drive. So she finally starts driving. They finally start like telling her, "Get away from the strip." She takes them out to like a Walgreens in the middle of the place. They get out of the car, and she has the audacity
She charged them?
to charge them. I was like, and after she realized what happened, she's like, there was a mass shooting. She's like, seriously? And then she heard the people over the radio on the taxis like, "Stay away from downtown. Mass shooting. A lot of casualties." And she still charged him. What a freaking asshole! Are you kidding me? In a time of need like that, where you like these people, and these people are covered in blood, and they're in the car.
I was about to say, did they show signs or?
No, they said they were all okay, but they had blood on them. They were calling their parents, letting them know that they're okay. They were like crying. They're like, "Yeah, that guy fell on me. I didn't know if he was dead or not. He wasn't moving." Like it's. Oh. And she was like, "Yeah, whoever's got the money." And the guy was like, "Are you fucking serious?"
That's fucked up.
That is really fucked up. Wow.
I mean, I would just walk away, be like, "You're not gonna charge me anything." Bye.
Like,
Bye.
No, you're not charging me.
That's insane.
Like, that's ridiculous.
So,
Jesus.
Sorry, I don't have any money. Thank you for saving my life.
I know.
I have to leave now.
I just wonder what like I would have done if I was there.
I wonder that myself. And then I start freaking out like, I don't want to think of that. I don't want to think of that.
No, you don't want to. I mean, I don't want to ever think about that. I don't want to ever be in that kind of situation, but I would probably run as fast as I can.
Probably, yeah.
Away from
But that's
everything.
what's so crazy. To us, it seems like you can make a plan because we know all the information that the shooter was high above and chances of him actually hitting you.
Right.
But those people,
They had no idea.
they don't know if he's in the crowd. They're trying to hide every
Well,
person that comes around.
that's why everybody just ducked.
Yeah, they had no
everybody like hit the
fucking
deck,
idea.
which makes sense. You know, you hear shots, you hit the deck. I mean, are you really going to think that somebody's 32 stories high and hitting the deck really just keeps you in the line of fire? Like you don't know.
What blew my mind was the people. Everyone's getting down, and the people who are like filming it on their phones. Like, I know we're addicted to social media, but like, where's the line where you go, "Oh yeah, maybe I should get down too and not film"? Like, people, you're getting shot at, and they're like, "This is crazy! Do you hear that gunfire? Like, get the fuck down! Put your phone away! Are you kidding me?" I'm sure you guys have seen the guy who's like flipping. Did you see that guy?
I saw that.
He's got a beer in his. I think he's got to be
He's
wasted.
hammered. He's
like this. Everyone's down, and he's like. fuck you.
Yeah, he's standing up, just flipping off, and then you hear the shots go, and he ducks.
Yeah.
And and then
don't
they
mean to
hear them
laugh.
stop, and
I
he
know.
gets back up, and he puts his hand up, puts his finger up again.
He's like the most accidental badass man that ever lived. Like, you didn't know he was being
He's
so
been getting praised.
I know.
Like crazy on
He's
social media.
lucky that he didn't get freaking just crushed.
I mean,
He was hammered. He was like sweating and everything. He's holding his beer. He's holding his beer like this. He's
I know.
like,
He's like, and
what
that's
a true
and that's
American.
true too. Like,
What a true American.
yeah,
That
I think it was a
motherfucker.
Bud Light too.
that man
wasn't
was
it?
drinking a Budweiser.
It was.
I don't know
what
what
good
it was.
PR for Bud Light.
Oh man.
For real.
Right.
They
Just
should give that
fuck
guy
you.
free beer for life.
But at the end of the day, let's just end on this. Because everyone's been talking about this, and honestly, we just don't need to go any further. That motherfucker is an asshole, a beyond
Not
assholes.
even. He's just a waste of. He's just
Right,
God's greatest
he's gone
mistake.
now. You know, it is what it is.
But let's not let this affect us. We can't let this affect Vegas, because Vegas is supposed to be your home away from home, and it's supposed to
Right.
be the place where you can let your hair down, and it should always be that.
Yeah.
You know, of course, we should take some measures and to be a little bit more cautious and
course.
to understand, like, oh, this guy has 16 suitcases. Maybe we should look at that.
Yeah, or have metal detectors when you come through the hotels.
There's always going to be crazy people, but
You can't even-
95%,
Yeah.
I mean, how do you regulate that?
Yeah,
95% of people are great, awesome Americans.
I'd say
Yeah.
more than that.
Yeah.
Did I say 85? I
So
meant-
you said 95, but I
95.
think most people. I mean, if just like you said, when like that was a tragedy, but everybody there helped each other.
Everybody there. It was wild to see the community
Yeah.
get together, and people who were just visiting just just rise up and help.
Most
And-
people are good.
Yeah.
That's just bottom line. It's very few that are bad apples. They need
So-
to, just be weeded out like he was.
Yeah, well, he weeded himself out, but still,
Yeah.
And I was thinking this, like, maybe it's because, like, the reason why we're seeing this is so horrifying to us is because it's so good. Like, our lives are so good. Mm-hmm. Like, because the perspective is very important.
Yeah, of
I
course,
feel
sure.
like just the other day I was like, I'm so fucking happy that I have a roof under my head, and then I can go to Kroger and get as much fucking food as I want.
Yeah.
And I have so much fucking
Watch
water.
TV.
Puerto Rico doesn't have any fucking clean water right now.
I know, isn't that crazy?
You know?
Oh, yeah, and even with like all the hurricanes and stuff. I mean, how long were people in Houston, people in Corpus that were out of power for? I mean, obviously it was temporary, but I mean, think about it: not having running water or power for a week.
Flint, Michigan hasn't had clean water in years.
Yeah.
That's in
could you
America.
imagine-
That's
could
like
you imagine
up
going
here.
through 1 week of no clean water and no power? Like, what would you do?
Crumble.
Like, really? It's crazy to think even 1 week, and Puerto Rico's not had it for how long?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
take stock of the good things in your life and the good things in the country that you fucking live in. We don't need to talk about it anymore. So let's move on to other than the horror. Other than the horror, let's just get some levity into this podcast a little bit.
Yeah.
What'd y'all do this week besides that? Like, you just got off tour, didn't you?
I've been in and out just because, like, with the country world, it's weekend warrior stuff. So I'm virtually out a lot of weekends and then back in town a lot. But essentially, yes. Let me think. Last time I was here, I was getting ready to go out on a couple of different things. Oh, I did get to do. Trying to think of the timing of this in case I already talked about it. But I did get to do what was really cool. One of the artists I play for, we went down to Dallas. And NFL opening weekend, we did the pregame show for Cowboys Giants.
Oh, was that fun?
It was so awesome.
That's so cool.
It was so cool. So, like, I got a bunch of pictures and stuff I could show you.
That's awesome.
But yeah, we did the pregame show, so it was right outside of the stadium. They treated us like crazy. Like, it was awesome. After we got done with the show, they took us. We had these like VIP. Pretty much, I was on the field essentially. I was
so
standing
cool.
right behind the Giants.
That's awesome.
So it was really hard to watch the game because they're big.
They're actually giants.
They are actually giants. But in Jerry's world, that TV is the size of Montana. So I was watching it there. It was pretty awesome. So a couple things like that. Yeah, I've been in and out, and a couple of gigs in town, stuff like that. What have you been up to? I haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah. What's you been doing this week?
Well, every day's the same
That's
for
good.
me, but I like it. Just music and CrossFit.
What did you work on this week as far as music?
This week for music. There's this guy, his name is Cooper Baker. He writes really cool, epic songs for like TV and film trailers, movie trailers and stuff.
Nice.
So he writes them and then I just mix them for him.
That's awesome.
They're really good. He's really good at that. It's like a little Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, we tried Hans Zimmer.
I don't know anything.
Yeah, we tried to do the Hans Zimmer for the Bones film.
We were
That was so fun. I want to do that more.
I did
too. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, just mixing and producing some cool artists, and
You've done a lot of pop stuff, right?
that's pretty much all I do.
Sweet.
Pop, yeah. I've tried to do country. There's just not a country bone in my body.
I know that feeling. We talked about that last time.
Yeah. It's easier for drummers.
It's easier for drummers.
It's easier for drummers.
Yeah.
We don't
Especially
have.
nowadays.
We don't have,
It's either a pop beat or a rock beat anyway. So.
Yeah, for sure.
A couple of times there's like certain train beats or something I started to play, and I'm like, okay, I'll just get through this real quick.
the train beat, the ever elusive.
I love that beat.
Yeah, that's awesome though, man. Been keeping busy and like, have you been like music wise? It's just been every day kind of thing. Like you're that busy.
There's always something to work on every day.
That's awesome. That's
Whether
really
it's
awesome.
mixing or editing a vocal or something, but
You playing it all?
No, I'm DJing. That's my new playing.
Yeah, you were doing that for the football games too, weren't you?
I'm doing that this season too for the Titans.
Awesome.
How was last Saturday? You played last Saturday. You DJ'd last Saturday.
Did I?
Did you?
I don't remember.
And all was running.
Yes, I did.
together.
I did DJ last Saturday because that's when I woke up Sunday morning to the news.
Yeah.
It was good.
Wait,
You know,
it was
just
Monday morning.
watching drunk people.
So you did Sunday?
Oh yeah.
Anybody fight?
Oh, Sunday. Yeah. No fights this time. You guys are really letting me down. Valentine downtown.
Oh, cool.
On the rooftop every Saturday. That's fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been doing lately I've been doing Sunday nights if I'm in town at Tequila Cowboy, which is the gig I was on when I found out about all this stuff. But
It's cool.
yeah, it's been like with a rock group.
It's cool that you get to actually play your instrument
It's awesome.
because I
isn't it?
don't. I push buttons.
You should probably, and you can incorporate it.
Well, I do in the studio, but not live.
Why not?
You know what? That's my new thing. I'm gonna be the DJ who solos over every song he plays. And here's one by Ariana Grande.
And you don't have to do it for all of them, but
Yeah.
it'll be fun to
See,
integrate
There is
here
a
and there.
DJ out there that plays guitar over his.
is it
Yeah.
Grizz?
Yes, Grizz.
He's really cool.
Yeah.
You know who else does that? Is somebody we all know from Vegas, Mikey Latino.
Oh, yeah, he does
He does
too.
that. I
Yep.
think his group's called Mike's.
Is he still doing
him
that?
And another guy named Mike. I don't know if there's.
They're not doing that anymore. He's doing his own like pop thing.
Oh well,
No.
okay.
When's
Well,
the
it
last-
used to be that way, and it was pretty cool.
He's my favorite person. I wish you could get him on this podcast. Mike Latino,
I'll,
if you're
message
out
him.
there, get
out
on this
here.
podcast.
I'll message him on Facebook.
Bring it on.
Dude,
He's
hilarious.
I haven't talked to that guy in a long time.
I've actually got a jet, so you guys finish. I'm gonna go give my blood.
all right. Give
Yeah,
your blood.
Do it. Do it.
Thanks for joining.
I'm scared.
It's just
You
a,
scared?
It's just a needle, and they
I
take.
know.
You've
Stuff
done.
out
You
of
take
you.
like a pint of blood out of you, don't they?
Yeah.
Did you eat anything
That's
today?
a lot.
That's
Like
a
a
lot.
beer. Like have you seen a pint? That's a lot of blood.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Yeah, if you go drink a beer right after, you only need one.
Don't you have like 5 pints of blood in your body?
I have no idea.
6, 5. It's not a lot.
I have no idea.
She laughing at me?
She might be laughing at you.
I'm sick of it. I'm leaving.
All right.
All right, back to reality.
Did we get? We recorded enough microphones there?
Oh yeah, so how I do it, and for those of you that want to know how I record the podcast with 3 mics, even though I go from a duet, which only has 2 mic inputs, what I did is just get a mixer, and technically you can do this with however many channel mixer. I have a 2-channel mixer, and so I put 2 of your mics
Oh, you
into the
just
channel
blend
mixer.
us.
Line out into the one line into the duet. And
Clever.
essentially, I can do that with however many mics
Yeah.
I need, and just mix from the mixer. Aaron Harmon
Excellent.
gave me that idea.
It's a great idea.
Yeah,
That works. Speaking of Aaron Harmon, have you had him in on the cast
that
yet?
motherfucker. No.
What about Jordan?
Him too, especially Jordan. That motherfucker.
Those guys.
Actually, this is really funny. One of the first podcasts I've done, I did one with Levi. That was the first one, and
that
then the
one was
second
great.
one,
I watched a lot of that. I was cracking up at that.
dude, Levi's hilarious. I need to get him on again. We need to talk video games. I need to get my
Yes.
video game.
Do it.
Video game.
I know I've been out of the
Talking,
video game
need it.
loop.
But I went over to Aaron's studio and wanted to record a podcast with them, and it was 420 day, whatever
So
holiday it is.
being there.
I mean, I figured it would be fun, and we could do it at his. And I was relatively new at all this, so I didn't bring any of my equipment. I just had him set up all the mics. Turns out there was like 6 or 7 people there, and so we had set up the mics in all different ways, and fucking just it was like a 3.5 hour long podcast. By the end of it, like everyone was so just drunk, if you will.
Not sober.
Inebriated it was just unusable, and like to the point where mics were like this far away.
Oh no.
And then that person, I think it was Logan was talking the most, and her mic was like 3 feet away from her. And so it was just completely unusable. Maybe I'll throw it up for a special, but it was impossible.
Use a couple of clips or something.
Yeah, but I need to get them on. I definitely need to get them
we
on.
talked about it last time. We need to get all of us on at the same time. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I just released a little clip on my Instagram and the YouTube channel about just like old band memories and stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. I saw a couple of the pictures you'd put up, or whatever, like the memories ones or whatever. Pretty cool. I still can't believe it feels like a lifetime and a half ago. Like, it's so crazy.
I know.
And at the same time, I can't believe it's been as long as it has.
They're just fucking old.
We're still young. Screw that. We came out here as kids.
It's crazy how it's just... We essentially were in a fraternity, a music fraternity in that house.
You know who else we need to get on the podcast is Trevor and Jay. Wouldn't it be
Maybe
great?
together.
Wouldn't it be great? Yeah, get Trevor and Jay and Mike. You remember that whole scenario when they all first like were moving in together at the very beginning? And get the 3 of them in to talk about that. That'd be really funny.
This actually, I was going to talk about this. So you know about the Super Nintendo Classic?
Yeah.
You know about that?
Yeah, you camped out for that, didn't you? Or you tried to?
I tried. I tried. That was my weak attempt at
They had
trying.
like a rant video you put up. I was laughing. I've been following a lot of your stuff lately.
Fucking. So, Walmart was going to release the SNES Classic Edition at midnight in store, not online. So, which is smart because you don't want 7. You don't want one person buying 8 SNES Classic Editions and then selling them on eBay for $280
or more.
Which is exactly what happened for the Nintendo Classic Edition. That's exactly what happened, and that's
they're
why
selling them normally for like $60, right?
Yeah. And so the Super Nintendo Classic is sold for $80, and Walmart was going to release them all on midnight. And so I had called Walmart that day at 8 o'clock. I called them and I said, "Do you have any in stock?" And they said, "Yes." It's like, "Is there a line?" And he said, "No," laughing like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, okay, then I got time. I might actually be able to get one." And so I waited an hour.
The second you hung up.
I know. It's exactly what happened. So I waited an hour at 9 o'clock, or is it 10 o'clock? I think it was 10 o'clock. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go to Walmart. I'm just going to hang out and just listen to a podcast or whatever. So I get to Walmart. I walk to the electronics section and no one's around. So I'm like, okay, good sign. There's no one here. No one's camped out. Great. And then like 30 minutes go by and I finally see an attendant by the electronics section. And I go, "Excuse me, do you guys still have any SNES Classics? Are you guys releasing them on Monday? How's this go? Do you have is this a ticket system?" And the guy looks at me like, "Oh, let me check." And I'm like, "Uh-oh. This isn't good."
Let me check.
Yeah, let me check.
Like,
I'm
isn't this something you should already know about?
and there's no one around. I'm
Right.
the only one here.
Yeah. Like, did I get my dates mixed up? Because there's no way I did that.
Yeah. And so he checks with some other guy who's carrying a pallet, and he's like, gets on his walkie-talkie. He's like, so the SNES Classics, what's the deal with that? And they go, "Tell him to go to the photo section." I'm like, "The photo section?" He's like, "Yeah, just go to the photo section." I'm like, okay. So
Weird.
I walk to the front of the store to the photo section. And then as I'm walking towards the photo
like
section,
customer service kind of area.
yeah, as I'm walking towards the photo section customer service area, I realize that there are no lights on.
Which is eerie.
I'm like, there's no lights in this section of Walmart. And so I get to the desk and the lady looks at me and she goes, I'm sorry, but we're all sold out of Super Nintendo Classic Editions. They're all spoken for. And I go, what? And I look to my left in the darkest corner of the customer service section. I mean, there is no lights. There are 12 people.
Like torture. Like, it's ridiculous.
There's
Turn
12
the damn lights on.
Yeah, there's 12 people just sitting down on their phones. And I'm just like, this is depressing. I'm not, what? And it was just such, it's such
And
a depressing.
what time was this at that you got there?
It was 10 o'clock.
So those people had to sit for another 2 hours before they even got it.
Yeah, but they must have got there like an hour before I did.
Yeah.
Not even.
Yeah.
That was really annoying. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to stress myself out to get this fucking thing.
No.
I'm just not going to do it.
No.
I'm a
Not
grown
worth
ass
it.
man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a time when I got the Wii, I camped out for it. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
What's funny about it is I didn't camp out for it on the release day. I camped out for it like 2 weeks later because it was still like that ridiculous. But yeah, we camped out. I got to, it was at Target. I got to Target before they closed, like the night before. And ended up buying lawn chairs or like a chair or whatever before they closed. And then it was freezing outside. So I stayed in the car. And of course, I'm like, because it was like there was nobody in line. I was literally the first one there. And so I was like, okay. And I was 22, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe younger. I don't know. So I was like, I don't care. Screw it. I want this video game console. And I remember sitting there. God, it was so cold. But I remember around 4-ish, and mind you, the store didn't open until like 8.
Yeah.
At around like 4-ish, some dude rolls up and pulls out his chair and just goes right in line. I was like, I guess I gotta get in line now. Because another car had actually pulled up too, and I saw them, and they saw us, or me, and I would kind of look over, and they kind of look over, and nobody got out of the cars. It was like, okay, cool. It's freezing outside. But yeah, at like 4 o'clock, some dude gets out and grabs his chair and gets right in first in line.
Did you stay up all night?
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, because I didn't want to fall asleep and then wake up and have there be a huge line, and I was there for nothing. You know?
Yeah.
I had to stay up.
That's kind of fun though. That's kind of fun.
It was kind of fun.
You know,
I don't think I'll ever do it again. But yeah, and then they did the ticket system at a certain point. The guy was like, "Hey, here's what we're gonna do. It's like, you will not be running." He's like, at a certain time, we'll come out here. We'll give tickets. And after that, you'll have about an hour till the store opens. Just come back when the store opens. You have your ticket. You'll have your console.
Great.
Well, that's awesome. So, we did that and then got to go get back in the car and warm back up. I was like, And then, yeah. And so the store went to open back up again. And I will never do that again. But, but yeah, it was fun to do once.
Yeah. Like, it would have, like, I probably would have been there a lot earlier if I had someone to go with.
Right.
And it would just be like kind of an adventure kind of thing.
Well, and then you got somebody to hang out with too.
Yeah.
It helps kill the time.
Yeah. But, I'll get it when I get it. It's just so stupid though when you think about it. It's like all it is a RetroPie. That's all it is. It's just, but it's made by Nintendo.
Yeah. It's just legit. You don't have to go download an emulator or whatever.
Right.
And it's not going to be glitchy. It's not going to, it is what it is. And it's the same deal with the classic, right? Like you can't add any games to it or anything. It's just preloaded and
no, I'm sure you can hack it. I'm sure anything can be hacked, but
that obviously is besides the point. If you can hack it, then just get an emulator.
Right.
Or if you're going to do that. Did you end up getting the NES Classic?
No. Good news though. Apparently Nintendo is going to restock them.
That's good.
At the in next year, and same with the Super Nintendo Classic.
Next year.
So because because a lot of people
they would sell today. Like that's the crazy part.
When that all went down and Nintendo said we're not going to sell them anymore, I was like, do you guys not like money?
Right. Like, yeah.
It was like, well, and an argument for that was like, we want people to concentrate on Switch sales because you can buy old games on the Switch. I'm like, that's fantastic. That's great.
What the hell is the Switch?
The Nintendo Switch?
Is there a new? See, that's how out of the loop.
Wow, you're so out of the loop.
I'm very out of the loop
Nintendo has a new
console.
New console out. It's called the Nintendo Switch, and it's a mobile tablet-esque kind of thing.
I think I did see that. I don't think I ever saw the name of it, though.
Yeah, but it's got graphics that are better than the PS3, Xbox 360. Not much better, but still.
Yeah.
And
Well, Nintendo's always gone after like the kind of cartoony looking.
but here's the best part about it is it's very easy to attach to your TV, and mid play you can just put it on this little dock. Goes in the dock is attached to an HDMI cable that goes to your TV,
Nice.
and just plop it down, take the controllers off, play on your TV.
That's pretty cool.
So if you're playing like a game like Skyrim or something, or you're playing a game that's like really quest heavy, like
Sure.
Legend of Zelda, and you just can't like afford to turn
Let's
off the
say
console.
you're on the road at the time and playing, and you have to get home, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm not done,"
Yeah.
or vice versa. I gotta go get on the bus or van or whatever you're in. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And it's sold
That's
great.
really cool.
It's a great idea. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And people really love it. The controllers are really nice. Yeah, but see, and then like Nintendo wants people to buy Switches so they can play old games. But then why release the Nintendo Classic Edition? Maybe okay, well they did the Nintendo Classic Edition right before the Switch came out. I remember this now, I believe. And so I
the
believe
Switch
that
has
was
its own like virtual console, like the Wii did, and
I
all
think
that.
so.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Might as well. I mean, if you can buy the games and have them, on a hard drive or something, then yeah, you might as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the fun thing about the classic is it's the classic. It's got like essentially new versions of the original.
Well, it's nostalgia. It's
Right.
all nostalgia.
Right.
That's all it is. But I guess they just
Nostalgia, except for the fact that you don't have to blow into those damn cartridges.
yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. Or just
Sit there for an hour watching the blinking screen going, just
yeah.
work.
And it's not yellowed.
Yeah.
It's nice and pretty and
Yeah.
pristine.
Oh,
and you're
jeez.
like, and it's tiny. It's tiny. It's like this big.
Yeah. I've seen one. I think one of the bars around town had one, and I saw it sitting there. I was like, that's random. Pretty cool though.
Yeah. So that was my video game thing. So what I did instead is I just bought Skyrim remastered
There you go.
for PS4.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'll just buy this again. Now I have 2. Great.
Excellent.
I just can't seem to stop rebuying things I already have.
Have you heard of any like errors and stuff with the PS4? Anything like kind of issues? So here's why I ask. Okay, my roommate Sean has a PS4, and I could literally throw it out the window because at any given time it'll just beep,
What?
and it'll make the sound like it's ejecting a disc.
Really?
Yeah,
You got a
or-
messed up PS4 then.
Oh well, obviously, but it's so infuriating, because like his girlfriend will come over and they'll watch a movie or something, and I happen to just walk through and I hear this dee-dee-dee, and every once in a while it'll be like rapid fire. It's like dee-dee-dee, and I'm just like, oh my gosh,
I don't know. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, so I just didn't know if you'd. Yeah,
No, never heard of that.
God,
My
This
PS4
is
is
so annoying.
my PS4 is going strong.
Good. Yeah, I keep telling him like, dude, just use the Xbox One. It's a Blu-ray disc. Just use that. Like I'm gonna break that thing. It's already broken. Break it more.
Yeah, that's
Done for.
That's not normal.
Yeah.
Remember that fight? There's a I think it was either a documentary or a small video out there that was describing the Red Ring of Death, and
Oh really? I
no,
didn't see
it
a
was
documentary or
I
nothing
think it
about
was Stop Skeletons from Fighting YouTube channel that actually talked. Yes, it was. His name is Derek Alexander. Stop Skeletons from Fighting. Awesome YouTuber, and he talked about the history of the Red Ring of Death and why it happened.
Really?
Yeah, it's really fascinating. If you really think about it, it's just like wow.
Oh, like almost all of them got it. Mm-hmm. It was
And it's
crazy.
even crazier to think that it was such a big fuck up, and yet Xbox and Microsoft still came out on top.
Yeah. Well, they took them all back. They're like, yeah, here, like if you have this issue, let us know. We'll send you the packaging. You don't have to pay for shipping, obviously. Yeah. And the annoying part is it took a couple weeks or handful of weeks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You just had to send it in, and I think they just sent you a different one completely.
Yeah.
Like they didn't fix it. They just
And
swapped
it just goes to show how big a fuck up it was for Sony to sell their PS3 for $600. The hell is wrong with you?
Oh my god, people spend it.
I did.
See,
Well, at least I did. My parents got it for me, but for Christmas, it was the
the
one
360
Christmas.
was up there though. It wasn't. I don't think it was 6, but it was 5. I thought.
I
like
think
when it
was
first
either,
came out.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe
It
it
was
was
insane.
It was definitely not. No, I think it was 450. I don't know.
One of my favorite things on the internet back then was was the people who would get a bunch of money to wait in line to then smash it in front of everybody in line. That was just fantastic. It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Do people do that with iPhones now?
Yeah.
They still do that.
Yeah, they do.
What assholes, though?
Oh, it's but
That's such a dick thing to do.
Like for a console though, because I'd imagine with an iPhone, you break it. I mean, you drop it and you break it.
Yeah.
But like with a console, with the size of it, you think of like Office Space when they did the fax machine or whatever, or the printer, and just like somebody walks out there, just bought it, waited all night for it. It's like, is this what you guys want? Sits on the ground, grabs a sledge, just like, oh my god. That's amazing.
I can't believe that. I'd be so mad.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder,
standing in line like, dude, no.
I'm surprised no one like punched him.
I think, well, they always had a few people with him, like camera person and whatnot, because I'm pretty sure they got at least started to get attacked or something by some people. Like,
I think if the police come in, they're like, well, you deserve it. You deserve to get punched in the face.
Yeah, like, why would you do that?
That's pretty much the same thing as you like pushing somebody and be like, hey, you want to fight?
Because
hey.
a lot of those people would wait in line for a number of hours and still not get one. And they're like, and this motherfucker over here went and bought one and smashed it for everybody.
I guess the joke's on him, though. I mean, he just wasted $500.
Well, true, but I mean, he didn't spend it himself. Like, the whole thing was they raised the money to do this.
Oh, okay.
So like he didn't have to buy it. He had to sit there and wait in line.
It was a crowd-funded, terrible thing.
Oh, it's hysterical. The videos were freaking hilarious. I cracked up at that quite a bit. Probably a little too much. I thought it was pretty funny. Of course, I was not waiting in those lines too. If I was, I probably would not have been happy.
I mean, yeah. Imagine if you do that whole thing where you're waiting for the Wii.
Oh yeah, I've some like, and then if I was like the first person who didn't get one, oh, I'd be livid.
You would try and find that guy.
Like, oh yeah,
you'd go in jail. I think I would.
I don't think I'd go to jail. Man, I don't know.
Dude, because but think about it. You're staying up all night. You're losing sleep.
Yep.
You're already not thinking straight because you're staying up all night to buy a video game console.
Right.
So
clearly, you've got certain priorities not in the right order at the moment.
And then you don't get one because some motherfucker decides to break a Wii.
I just couldn't imagine being the first person who did not get one. Like, that person would be the most pissed at anybody. Just like, I was one away, and you did that.
Yeah.
Man.
The world can be cruel, as we've discussed on this podcast.
Oh, so one thing we need to talk about is I sent you the track. What do you think about doing
I'm
that?
down.
We're down?
I'm so down.
Have you got to mess with it at all? Or?
I'm, yes. And then after, I'm working on another drum cover right now, and I'm not going to give it away, but I'm working on writing the parts and thinking about how the video is going to turn out because, yeah, it's going to take me some time. But, yes.
Sweet.
Definitely.
Well, I said too, structurally, we can do whatever we want with it.
Yeah, I think the structure is fine.
I just kind of threw something together. But, you get the basic idea of it.
We're going to do it at your studio?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, that was part of one of the things I wanted to talk about while Kyle was here. But he had to go be a good human being and donate some blood.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the issues, I know you're running Logic and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. What OS do you use on your computer?
Maverick.
Okay. I always wonder about it because I know Logic and Pro Tools are a lot different, and I use Pro Tools primarily. Mm-hmm. It's like one of the issues I've been running into is I have the license for 10, 11, and 12, but my plugins are 32-bit, and they only work for Pro Tools 10.
Yeah.
And
that's the problem. That's why I didn't upgrade mine.
Right. But the issue was my phone was screwing up earlier this year. So I had to take it in, but I had to back it up. Mm-hmm. And my phone was too far ahead of the OS that I had on my computer. So I was in this huge pickle, and I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Well, there is, so you've already upgraded then?
Yeah, I upgraded to the point where I thought I was still going to have a nice bridge. Mm-hmm. So I upgraded. I'm at El Capi 10 now. Mm-hmm. And so...
No, I'm saying you upgraded Logic. You're at Logic 10.
No,
you still
have Logic 9, but I don't even use Logic. I use Pro Tools primarily.
Okay.
So the issue I've had is that I had to upgrade my OS so that way I could work with my phone. And then on top of it, like for live gigs, I load the tracks. Like if I have any backing tracks, I load them onto my phone. rather than an iPad, because a lot of times I have to use the iPad for like the charts that I've made,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, that old deal. But yeah, so I, still have to be able to use my phone. And so I've been looking at all that and trying to figure it out. So Pro Tools 10 does work with El Capi 10, sort of. It technically doesn't, like on the website, it doesn't really. It works. It's just a little glitchy.
Yeah.
And my plugins, they don't all work. So I'm just like,
Well,
frustrated.
I know Logic has, and I don't know if Pro Tools has one yet, but Kyle uses, because he was running into that same issue, and he has a plugin that actually converts your 64-bit.
32 to 64.
It converts to 32.
Yeah, they're called wrappers, I think is what they are.
Yeah, and he says his works
I've heard
perfectly.
Of that. I've heard of that. One of the things I don't want to do is when you use the wrappers, and if you're going in and mixing or something, you essentially have to remix them. But on certain projects that I already have done a lot of work, I'm trying to figure out a way that I don't have to do that. So I don't know. I'm working on a workaround right now. Considering my computer can handle the older OS and obviously a newer one, I'm figuring out a way, and I'm hoping it's going to work, to have basically the old OS on either an external or maybe another internal or something like that. So basically my computer will run at the newer OS, so that way my phone works. I can back it up, or I can load songs onto it or whatever. But if I, go to restart the computer, and then I forget which keyboard option it is that you hold to, you could choose where to boot from.
Yeah.
And have the old OS boot from either an external or another internal or whatever, and have the old OS there. That way I can still have my older OS. I don't know if it's going to work.
That
very
sounds
experimental.
really experimental and complicated.
Very.
I got lost when you were talking about it.
So it's basically two different hard drives. One's booting a newer OS, one's booting an older one. Anytime I go to use Pro Tools and with the old plugins, I'll use the old one.
Right.
That's the idea. I don't know if it's going to work.
Wow. Yeah.
I've been reading a lot of forums and trying to figure all this out, and I'm like, okay, this is fun.
Yeah. I stop when it comes to that stuff. I don't use I mean, it's so crazy. Yeah, Kyle would be great to talk to about
I know,
this,
I
because
wanted to, but then we got wrapped up in some of the other stuff earlier, and then he had to go. But maybe we'll dig into that on another round.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll have it figured out by then. I don't know.
What time is it?
I don't know. What time is it?
I don't know. It's
5:43. Wow.
wow, we've powered through. All right, let's wrap it up, because I'm hungry. I need to eat.
Yeah, I need to do that too.
All right.
Gotta get ready for rehearsals and stuff.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun, man. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. I love doing this. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, like I said, there's places to donate for the victims in Vegas. Any plugs? Any new dates? Any projects you're working on that need light? I'm
opening for Saliva tomorrow, so that's fun.
That's cool. There you go.
I heard about it and I started cracking up, because I guess Josie Scott hasn't been in the band in a handful of years, but it's still Saliva. There's still a name.
Yeah.
And they're just like, it just cracks me up. I'm like, I didn't even know they're still touring. But I'm like, oh, that's gonna be fun though. So we got rehearsal tonight. We'll go do that tomorrow. But it just makes me laugh sometimes. Like certain, like whereas don't get me wrong, it's gonna be a fun gig and it's gonna be a good gig.
Yeah.
But whereas a gig back in the day would be here, and now, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still good, but it's not, what it would have been in the heyday. It just makes me laugh and smile, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, like I said, I didn't know if they were still touring.
There
But
you go.
I'm gonna have a blast. I can't wait for that.
Like, didn't we? I can't remember. No, that wasn't a beginner's mind. I forget. I remember seeing Drowning Pool.
I don't think I ever saw them,
but I can't remember. I can't remember.
Died a long time ago.
Yeah, but no, they have a new singer.
Right.
At least at that time,
right.
There was a new singer. I think it was just I was just at a show.
This was after the original singer died. Then,
yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, Drowning Pool's still doing it. And they sang "Bodies Hit the Floor" with that new singer. And I was like, oh shit, they're still doing it. I wonder if they're still doing it.
Well, if they're still touring, I imagine they would kind of have to. I mean, I don't really know any songs that got big like that from them.
I don't know. All right, bro.
All right, man. Good times.
Good times.
Mega Man.
Mega Man.
Thanks for listening, guys. Please subscribe and rate the podcast when you can so you can get the latest episodes as they are uploaded. Follow the Explicit Materia Facebook page for updates. Follow my YouTube page, youtube.com/wisedrums for video clips and some drum covers and drum-related stuff. Instagram, @wisedrums, and Twitter, @thewisedrums. Best wishes. Be safe. See you next time.